Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, ManojWeb, where my goal is to make your front-end life easier. In today's video, we're going to be doing part 2 of creating a website from scratch. Today we'll be adding all the CSS styling needed to make the website look pretty cool. So before we have this, which is looking pretty bland, pretty uncool, today we'll be adding some cool CSS styles to make it look like this. So, without any further ado, let's get started. HTML structure, and there's a new Figma extension on VS Code which allows you to see your Figma file on here, and you can get all the properties by clicking on them here. So that's what I'm going to be using today. And today we'll just be doing the basic CSS structure to make it look pretty decent, unlike this which just looks really bland. So let's get started. First, let's add the search bar because I didn't add the input last time. Input of text. We'll name it search, and we'll give it the ID of search. Right, so that's the search bar. If I save that, that's where it'll be. So now I think we can get started with styling it. Let's add the CSS link. Let's call it styles.css. styles.css. Let's add a file called styles.css. Let's try affecting the body to make sure it works. Let's say bg background is equal to yellow. Alright, so let's get the background color that we actually need. So the background color of this whole thing is this thing. So if I save that, you can see the background color. The color we know is white. And I think that's all we need in the body. Let me make the height 100 vertical height. And I'll make sure that overflow X is hidden. That should be all we need for the body. Now let's get started with specific sections like the header. Actually, we need something else for the body, because what we want to do is we want to split this into two sections. We have the header section right here, which will take like 1/3 of the page, and then we have the main section right here, which will take 2/3 of the page. So what we can do is use display grid on the body itself to do that. So display grid, we can do grid template columns. Make the first one 1FR and the other one 2FR. So now this the header takes 1/3 of the section, and then the rest takes 2/3 of the section. So that should be it for the body. Let's go on to the header. Let's set the background of the header to be, let's see what the background was, 121. I save that, so you can see it covers the whole first 1/3 of the section. We'll give the header a display of grid as well, and do grid template rows. Grid template rows to be the socializer logo itself will take 1FR, and then the navbar will be 4FR because there's 4 links, and then we'll have 1FR at the bottom, so there's some padding at the bottom. If I save that, and I can start adding borders so we can actually see what's going on. If I do header dot logo, I believe, and I do border 2 pixels solid white, that's the header itself, I mean the logo section. Header nav border 2 pixels solid white, you can see that's the navbar section, and then this area down here, that's going to be the extra padding that we needed. So in the header nav, we need the header nav ul. Let me get rid of the list decoration, or like the bullet points. List decoration none. List style none, not list decoration. List style none. And then we'll add a display of flex onto it. Flex direction is going to be column. We'll make sure the padding is 0, margin is 0. We'll do text align center. We'll do justify content. Let's do space between. Maybe I need to set the height to 100%. 100% of the height. Yeah, that did that. Let's make the font size bigger. Let's make font size, I think like 20 pixels should work for this current size. Or maybe not, let's try 40 pixels. The reason I'm not doing the Figma design one, because this size is a lot smaller. Right now we're just going to get it to work for this size and we'll add media queries later on. I'd say 30 pixels is fine for the nav UL. And let's go here, header nav UL li. We'll give it a border of 2 pixels solid red so we can see where each one lies, right? So this is what our design looks like. This is what it looks like right now. So I need to change the font family as well, and I need to add a border box of box sizing of border box. I'll add that on all of them, box sizing of border box. I made a video on this. If you don't know what border box is, link will be in description. And I need to add the font family. I believe it was Inria Sans, because I looked at it. Inria Sans, yep, Inria Sans. I don't think it's a safe font, so I'll import it from Google Fonts. Inria Sans. I don't think that'll change anything. Yeah, that won't change anything. So let me import the font. I'll go to Brave. I'll go to Inria Sans. And I've already added that in there. Yep, I'll copy that. I'm doing the regular 400, the bold 700 version. Go back to VS Code. Go to HTML, add the links for the fonts. So now I should be able to use these two fonts as well. If I save, you can see the font changed for all of them. So now what I need to do is go in the logo section, make it display flex, do flex direction should be row still. I'll do justify content, center, align items, center, so it's centered. And over in the HTML, I'll add the logo here as well, because I've brought the logo in. /socializer logo.png, logo for company Socializer. So I added some alt text. So now we can style the image itself. Let's go header.logo image. I'll do width about 20 pixels. Aspect ratio, let's make it 1:1, or just 1. That'll automatically make it 1:1. So let's make that 30 pixels. Cancel. Let's make that 40 pixels. Right now I'm just trying to get it to work for this size, and I'll get it to work for the other sizes later with media queries. But I'd say that looks pretty decent. Let me get rid of this, and get rid of this, and get rid of this. So Control S. Okay, so I'd say it's starting to look pretty decent. The only problem is with the nav bar, there's just a bit too much space between the links, because over here they're pretty close together, but over here they're really far apart. So for that, what I can do is make that 3, add another padding before that maybe. No, that doesn't work all that well. So I'll make that 3 FR and make that 2 FR. Make that 2 FR as well. So that should create a smaller section for that. That brought this down as well though. So if I do 1 FR and 1 FR, why does that mess that up? Oh, because the 1 FR goes to the nav bar, that's why. Okay, so I'll do that instead. I think that looks pretty decent still. And once we have it in bigger sizes, so if I were to make this bigger, it should start looking better. Yeah. So I'd say the header section is done, or the navbar section is done. I won't add any effects when you hover over it just yet. I'll add that next video probably. But for now, I'd say the header section is done. And we can move on to the main section. In the main section, we just need to style the search bar, add a profile picture, and style the activity section, because the rest of this we'll have to add with JavaScript. We'll have the styling for that when we start adding the JavaScript, like JavaScript code. We'll add the styling for that so we can actually test it out. But for today, it'll just be the search bar and it'll be the profile. So for the search bar, let's go here. Let's label it main. Right in the main dot search bar, I think. Let me check. Main dot search bar. Yep. So we'll give it a width of, I'd say that's like 70%. Actually, let's style the main itself first before we style the search bar itself. The background is correct. Display flex, I'd say that's, yeah, display flex. We'll give it a column. Display flex, flex direction, column. We'll do justify content, space evenly, and we will do, I'd say, align items center, right? So that should, okay, it's not looking really good right now because I don't have any videos. So what I can do, so I won't make a display flex, I'll make a display grid, and I'll add rows for each. I'll do grid template rows. So the first row will be, let's say, 1 FR, second row will be 1 FR as well, and then the third row will be like 4 FR, let's say. Let me just add some stuff in the third section. So we'll have the search bar and profile in one div. I'll add that in one div so it's easier to use. Div dot top section. I'll just move that up, right? And then in the activity, it's fine. We'll add another div for videos. One video just as a placeholder. So that should be fine. Maybe I make that 0.5 and 0.5. I'll say that's fine. And in the padding, in the main, I'll also add a padding on the top, like 20 pixels. I'll say 20 pixels all around. I'd say that's fine. In the search bar, okay, so instead of just selecting the search bar, I'll select the whole top section. I'll make the width like 80%, and I'll do margin 0 auto, so it'll automatically be centered. And let's go main dot top section dot search bar input. The input, I'll make the width. So out of that 80%, the width of the search bar will be like 80% of that 80%. Or is that not good? Let's see. Let's add a border on this. Okay. So if I make this 100%, it's only going that much. Oh, because I have nothing for the profile yet. No, but that doesn't make sense. So you want to make the search bar go all the way, or not all the way, 80% of the way. What we can do is dot search bar input. I have the input of type text there. So we want, okay, let's think about that after we add the background color on this. Actually, I want to add the background so we can actually see what's happening. Background color. Let's get the background color, which is not showing up. Okay, it's the same background color as this, so I'll just copy this instead. Alright, let's save that. Why is that not showing? Okay, let me try this real quick. Border 2 pixels solid yellow. I don't see a yellow border, so am I searching something wrong? Oh, because I'm doing main dot top section. I forgot to add a space. Oh dang, that's probably why then. So I'll do width of 100%. Let's see if that works. Yeah, so we'll make that 80%, I'd say. And over here, I think 90% is better. Yeah, I'll say that's good. I'll do display flex, and I'll do align items center so they're in the middle. Okay, that ruins that. I don't want that. So what I can do is margin auto, I believe. I think that'll do it. Yeah, margin auto does the thing. So let's go back to the search bar, give it a border radius of, let's say, 30 pixels. I think that might be too much. Yeah, it's a bit too much. 20 pixels. Cancel. I keep clicking Control W, Command W. Why is it doing that though? Why is there this random thing over here. Let me get a percentage instead. What is wrong with this? 10 pixels. So let me refresh that, or let me actually open that in a browser to see why it's doing that, see if we can figure out. So I'll open that in Safari. Okay, in Safari there's no problem, it seems. I'll get rid of the oh, it's probably the border, because I need to get rid of the border on that. Border none. Yeah, that fixed the problem. So that should be fixed now. Actually, let me add a bit of a height on this as well, because the height is not looking good. Height, let's say like 20 pixels or 30 pixels. I'll say 30 pixels is good for the height. And over here, let me add a placeholder, because I forgot to add that. Placeholder search bar. Let's do text align center. No, not text align center. I'll do color equals white. Okay, we can type. That's what matters more. So we'll figure out the other thing later. But we've got the search bar working. We've got the activity. I'll say activity is pretty decent as well. And all that's left is the profile section. I'll do main.top section dot profile, because I'm gonna just target the whole div itself. I'll give it a width of 30 pixels, right? No, width of 20% or 15%, because you want some gap between there as well. Aspect ratio of 1. I'll give it a background of I'll give it the same background for now. So for now it'll be the same, just background. Wait, why is it doing that? Let's give it a display of flex. What? So instead of that, let's give it a justify content space evenly. No, not that. Okay, so we want justify content center. But over here I've set the width to 80%. So instead of flex, maybe I can do grid. Yeah, display grid. And I'll do grid template columns. I'll make that like, I want 80% 8 FR and 1.5 FR. So that did the trick. I'll make this aspect ratio 1 is not really working out, it seems. 2? No, what am I doing? For 1 it's gonna be 4 times that. Let's give it a border of 2 pixels solid red. Okay, so the width is not really working out. Maybe it's this. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yep, that's doing the trick. Instead of 1.5, let's make it 1. Yeah, 1 that works perfectly. And let's give it a border radius of 10 pixels. Alright, I'd say we are ready. So now I think we are ready with the basic styling of the page. We've got the header done, we've got the main section done. And next week onwards, we can start adding some media queries maybe, or work with JavaScript. If you have any suggestions for what to do next, put them in the comments. And we'll see what we do next in part 3. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe, and see you next time.